When you were a kid, a single summer felt like it lasted 1,000 years. Think back, the long afternoons that stretched on forever, the school year that seemed like it would never, ever end. A 2 week holiday felt like an entire era of your life. Time, back then, was enormous, slow, endless. Now think about this year, this past year of your adult life. It's probably already halfway gone, and you can barely remember most of it. Whole months seem to have evaporated. You blink, and it's the end of another week. You blink again, and somehow it's a new year, and you're asking the same question everyone around you is asking. Where did the time go? Here's the strange part. A year is exactly the same length now as it was when you were 8. 365 days. The clock has not changed. The earth has not sped up. Not one single second is shorter than it used to be, and yet you can feel it. Time is accelerating. Every year seems to pass faster than the one before it. It's one of the most universal experiences a human being can have felt by nearly everyone who has ever grown up. In every country, in every century, and almost no one can explain it. But there is an explanation, several actually. And once you understand them, something powerful happens because the same science that reveals why time speeds up also reveals how to slow it back down. So let's ask the question hiding inside every disappearing year. Time isn't actually moving faster, so what exactly is changing inside you? Let's start with the simplest explanation, and it's really just a piece of math. It was described over 100 years ago by a French philosopher named Paul Janet, and it's called the proportional theory. Here's the idea. Your brain doesn't measure time against a clock. It measures each new stretch of time against the total amount of time you've already lived. So imagine you're 5 years old. 1 year is a huge piece of your life. It's a full one-fifth of everything you have ever experienced. To a 5 year old, a year is gigantic because compared to their tiny lifespan, it genuinely is. Now imagine you're 50. 1 year is just 1/50th of your life. It's a tiny sliver against the enormous background of everything you've already lived through. So the exact same year, the exact same 365 days, feels dramatically smaller, lighter, faster. There's a simple way to feel this. For a 10-year-old, 1 year is 10% of their whole existence. For a 50-year-old, that same year is 2%. So of course it flies by, proportionally to your own mind. Each passing year really is shrinking. Every year you live makes the next year a smaller fraction of the whole. So every year feels a little quicker than the last. It's not your imagination, it's arithmetic. That's a clean explanation and it's part of the truth, but it isn't the whole story. Because it doesn't explain the deepest, strangest part of this feeling, the way an entire month can vanish without leaving a trace. For that, we have to talk about memory. And this is where it gets fascinating, because here's a secret about how you actually experience the length of time. When you look back and judge how long a period felt, your brain isn't counting the hours, it's counting the memories. A stretch of time feels long in your memory when it's full of new, vivid, distinct events, and it feels short, almost invisible when there's nothing new to remember. Now think about childhood again. Childhood is an explosion of firsts. Your first day of school, the first time you rode a bike, your first friend, first fight, first crush, first time you saw the ocean. Every single day was pouring new, unforgettable experiences into your brain, and your brain recorded all of it in rich, high definition detail. So when you look back, that time feels enormous because it's absolutely packed with memories. This was noticed way back in 1890 by one of the founders of modern psychology, a man named William James. He pointed out that as we age, our lives fill up with fewer and fewer genuinely new experiences. And without new experiences, he said, the years begin to collapse and empty out. Because look at what an adult year actually looks like. You wake up to the same alarm, you take the same route to the same job, you do similar work, eat similar food, see the same faces, and come home to this same evening. Day after day, week after week, it's efficient, it's comfortable, and it is almost completely forgettable. Your brain is a brilliant energy saver. When something is new, it pays close attention and records everything. But when something is repetitive, something it has already seen 1,000 times, it stops bothering to record the details. It runs on autopilot, it files the whole thing under same as usual and moves on. So think about what happens across a routine adult year. Hundreds of days, nearly identical, that your brain barely recorded at all. And when you reach the end and try to look back, there's almost nothing there. Very few distinct memories, and a stretch of time with no memories in it feels like it lasted no time at all. That is the terrible secret behind where did the year go? The year didn't go anywhere, you just weren't recording it. There's a beautifully weird twist to this that scientists call the holiday paradox. Think about a 1 week vacation somewhere new. While you're actually living it, the week can feel like it's racing by because you're so busy and stimulated. But afterward, when you look back on it, that single week feels huge, like it lasted much longer than 7 days, because it left behind so many rich new memories. Now compare that to a normal week at home. While you're living it, it feels perfectly normal, maybe even slow at times. But a month later, it's gone. It has completely vanished from your memory because nothing about it was worth recording. And here's the heartbreaking part: adult life, for most people, is one long, ordinary week, repeated over and over, which is exactly why the years feel like they're vanishing. Because in your memory, they are. Now, some scientists think there's an even more physical reason underneath all of this. An engineer named Adrian Bejan proposed that as we get older, our brains literally process images more slowly. When you're young, your brain takes in a rapid stream of new mental snapshots of the world. As you age, that stream slows down. You capture fewer mental images in the same amount of real time. And if you're taking fewer mental snapshots per hour, then more clock time passes between each one, and time itself feels like it's slipping through your fingers faster. Whether or not that theory is exactly right, it points at the same truth as all the others. The way we experience time is tied completely to how much newness our minds are taking in. So let's put the whole picture together, because now it becomes clear time is not speeding up, not even slightly. What's actually happening is that your life is quietly draining of newness. Each year is a smaller fraction of your total life. Your routines have replaced your firsts. Your brain, running on efficient autopilot, has stopped recording the days. And so the years, empty of new memories, collapse into almost nothing when you look back on them. The thief that's stealing your time isn't the clock, it's routine. Comfortable, efficient, forgettable routine. And that realization sounds sad, but hidden inside it is something genuinely hopeful. Because if routine is what makes time vanish, then the cure is obvious. And it's completely in your hands. If time feels fast because your life is full of repetition, then to slow it down, you have to flood it back up with new experiences. You have to give your brain reasons to start recording again. And this doesn't require quitting your job or moving across the world. It can be small: take a different road home and actually look around, learn something that makes your brain struggle, an instrument, a language, a skill. Say yes to the thing that scares you a little, meet new people, go to places you've never been, even nearby ones. Break the pattern on purpose as often as you can. Every genuinely new experience is a memory your brain decides to keep. And a year full of kept memories is a year that feels long and full and real when you look back on it. And there's one more piece, quieter than the rest, but maybe the most powerful. Attention. So much of adult life is spent somewhere else. Physically here, but mentally scrolling, worrying, planning, replaying, and your brain cannot record a moment you were never truly present for. So, the simplest way to reclaim your time is also the hardest: actually be here. Notice the meal you're eating, look at the face of the person talking to you, feel the walk you're on. Presence is how you tell your brain this moment matters. Record it. And the moments you record are the only ones you get to keep. Here's a line worth holding on to: you cannot add more years to your life just by wishing. But you can add more life to your years. You can make each one so full of newness and attention that it refuses to disappear. So let's go back to where we started, to that endless childhood summer. The reason it felt like it lasted forever was not because you were young, it was because it was full. Full of firsts, full of wonder, full of a mind paying complete attention to a brand new world. And the reason this past year vanished is not because you're older, it's because it was empty, repeated, unrecorded, lived on autopilot. Time never changed. You did. The wonder faded, the routine took over, and your brain quietly stopped writing things down. But this summer proved something important. Your mind already knows how to make time feel vast. It did it for you effortlessly, every single day when you were small. That ability didn't die, it just fell asleep under a pile of ordinary days. So the real goal was never actually to slow down time. Time doesn't care. The goal is to build a life so full of new moments and so richly paid attention to that when you finally look back on it, it feels like it lasted 1,000 years, just like that summer did. Because everything has a why, even the quiet feeling that your life is slipping away too fast. And now you know its why, and better than that, you know what to do about it. Before you go, one small thing: videos like this take a lot of digging, real studies, real scientists, real research, not just guesses. And I bring it all together so you don't have to. So, if this made you want to actually notice your life a little more, the like button and the subscribe button are right there. It costs you nothing, and it helps this channel more than you know. And this whole channel runs on one question: why? So tell me in the comments, what's the next why you want answered? Why do we dream? Why do we get bored? Why can't you remember being a baby? Whatever it is, drop it below. The best one might just become the next video. Because everything has a why, and I'll see you in the next one.